If, like me, you'd like a perfectly mowed grass and you really like looking after your lawn, but you don't have the time to do it because you might, like me, have a toddler, you might have another baby on the way like me, and work-life balance means that you just don't get time to do it. And on the odd times that you get an hour to do it, it starts raining, which means you can't cut the grass that day and it gets too long and then it starts to die or it just gets a pain in the neck. Well, I've got a solution for you, and in this video I'm going to tell you how you can have a perfectly mowed lawn with zero effort or time involved. Now, this video isn't sponsored, but Mammotion, who make the Luba 2 all-wheel drive lawnmower, sent me the product for free. I haven't paid for it, so they haven't got any control over the content of this video, so I can say what I like about it. It's going to be an honest review as always on my channel. But the other thing to mention is they have also given me a referral link, and I've got an Amazon referral link down there, so I do earn a commission off any of the products that you may sell. But that won't change my opinion on some of the things that I found quite critical about this robot that I'm not too happy about. Now, the Luba 2 has something which is quite unique, and it means it doesn't need any perimeter wire. Now, normally outdoor lawnmowers, you need to fit a perimeter wire around the area of your grass that it's going. It can take a lot of time to put the cable there, but it also, if you have a toddler like me, that cable is going to be pulled up. And if you have a dog, then even if you dig it down, the dog could dig it up. My dog definitely would. So basically with the Luba 2, you walk it around like a family pet. You walk it around your entire edge of your garden of where it's allowed to mow, and then you basically map a path back to its base station, and it will follow that guide using the RTX mini sort of satellite GPS location system that you fit in your garden, but also using GPS built in and its vision camera system. But it also has another trick up its sleeve. However, not having a perimeter wire gives me one other massive advantage, and that's because my lawn not only has this lawn here, but I've also got this one over here. So there is one thing it's going to struggle at on my lawn, which I can't wait to show later on in the video. But before we get to that massive failure, which I assume it's going to fail at, let's just talk about its cutting height. Now, the UK model that I have does 1 inch to 2.7 inches. And that means that it can cut as high as 2.7 and as low as 1 inch down. Now, why is this important? Well, you see this dead area here on my lawn. This is because after winter, I cut with my normal lawnmower on this area, and it was set on its lowest setting, that basically cutting the grass right down to the bottom. And because of that, it made the grass go brown and the grass died off. Now, some of the lawn has revived itself, but that section there has remained completely dead. Now, I've tried to reseed it over and it will eventually grow back. But this gives the chance for weeds to set in there, and moss and all other sort of stuff which would ruin your lawn. And the reason my lowest sets the setting is I have to get a load of tools out and unscrew the blades, and it's just a bit of faff. And it's, again, I haven't got time to mow the lawn. I've not really got time to take my lawnmower apart the end and middle of each season to change its, blade height. This blade on this one can just be changed in the app. No tools required. You just set the setting of what height you want the mower at, and that's what the mower will cut at. Now, this is the charging station for the Luba 2. Now, the Luba 2 charging station comes with just this bottom part. This lid here is known as the garage, and it's 179 quid extra for this one piece of plastic on top, which I personally think is a little bit of a rip-off. It seems a bit overpriced to me. In fact, to be honest, with such a premium product, I kind of expected something like this to be included with the Luba 2. But it's high-quality plastic. But if you don't want to pay 179 quid for this, you could probably just make yourself a cover for the Luba 2 and fit it over the base station yourself. It does have the advantage of a couple of added protections. It will protect the Luba a bit more. Now, the Luba is IP rated, but having a bit of extra shield from the rain and stuff will give it a bit more longevity. But main purpose of it, in my mind, is in the summer, the Luba 2 is a lithium-ion battery. What you don't want in the summer is a lithium-ion battery getting very, very hot. This will just add that little bit of extra sun protection to the Luba 2, meaning that the lithium battery will be better health taken care of. So if you are going to put this in a direct sun position, probably would recommend that you get a garage or make your own garage for it. The actual base station itself underneath, at first I had the opinion that it felt a bit flimsy and a bit sort of like quite thin, but most people are going to be mounting this to the lawn, so it kind of needs to be thin for the Luba to rack up the tracks properly on it, so it's not at a height, so it kind of makes sense. They do supply pins to pin it into the ground, and to be honest, even sat on this my patio area, it's not moved. It's, even though it's quite a light system, it's not moved around. Now, You can fit the RTX GPS thing on the side of the Luba 2 base station, but I've got the wall bracket with this, and they do sell other accessories for the Luba 2. Now let's talk about the way the Luba 2 senses and works. It has loads of features. First of all though, while we're down here, let's just admire one thing. It is, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, it's an attractive looking lawnmower. It's well designed. It does look like an F1 car. You can see why they built the F1 decals for it, but it's full of sensors. Because it doesn't have a perimeter wire, it relies on a couple of things. It's got GPS built into the system itself, but you've also got the RTX base station, which, the way I'm understanding it, that uses GPS as well to locate where it is, and then projects another 3D map, another basically GPS satellite system directly to Luba to kind of give it a more local centimetre precision. Now you can mount that on the base station where it is, or you can mount it on the top of your roof, and they sell a solar panel for it if you don't want to connect it into your main electrics, so it's quite versatile. But even if you lose that RTX station, you know, connection to that, which my front lawn won't reach that at the moment, you can still rely on the GPS built system. It just won't be as accurate. But even if it loses that and the RTX system, it's got vision cameras that it will use as well. So it's mapping not only with all the GPS sensors and the RTX station, but you've also got the vision cameras. The vision camera does a couple of things. It can avoid pets. So a dog comes out, your child comes out, people come out, it will avoid people. It has obstacle avoidance. It can see with these cameras. It's also got a bumper bar. So the bumper bar, obviously if it hits anything, it beeps like that and it goes into shutdown mode. There's also a large, huge emergency stop button on top to stop it. And you've also, as you see here, got an array of sensors. Now these sensors are ultrasonic sensors. Tesla should take note, because these sensors are really good at, you know, detecting things near them, even better than cameras. So even though it's got the camera system, you've got 1, 2, 3 ultrasonic sensor systems, so it makes it really versatile at seeing what it's doing and the whole backup of sensors. And you can see why it fits into this premium price bracket, because most lawnmowers only rely on one sense, and even the perimeter ones just kind of go around like an aimless robot. They don't know the size of your lawn, they don't map anything, they just see a perimeter wire and bounce back off it. And this does lines, it does patterns, it has a system of how it cuts your lawn. Now before I mentioned something that I thought this mower would struggle at, and that is this incline here. Now this is a struggle to do with my Flymo mower, which is a light hover type mower. You can't do it from the bottom, you can't really do it going this way, and you struggle doing it from the top because you're slipping down the hill as you're doing it. It's actually genuinely a real struggle to do with a manual mower. But I managed to cope just about, and almost fallen over a couple of times. But this Luba 2, although it struggled to get up here on the mapping service, because it was kind of like, I was getting as close to this wall as I could, and I was getting stuck in the bush. For actual mowing, it's been perfect. It didn't struggle at all. Now the grass at the moment is very long, as you can see. I've not cut it for about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It's the end of No Mow May here. We're in this first week of June. So it's very, very long, and it's coping with it absolutely fine, even on this steep incline. Now it buzzed a couple of times as it ran into the wall. Now, annoyingly with this mower, I'm struggling to come up with things that I'm a bit angry about and negative, but then I remembered the price. It's £2,149, which is double the price of another robot lawnmower, but it's also 4 times the price of a manual mower. It's worth bearing that in mind when you're looking at this compared to other mowers. But the one thing you do need to bear in mind, that unlike other mowers, it didn't struggle getting up that massive hill. It just got itself unstuck with its 4-wheel drive system when it got stuck on that big steep incline. And there was no perimeter wire put down on this lawn or the rear lawn. I just guided it round with a camera system, as you saw before. But also, how many mowers can move between multiple layers, multiple lawns, just by saying which way to drive? It's very, very unique. But the other thing it can do, it's got a couple of gimmicks built into it. It's not only has it got the vision cameras, which we'll talk about, but it's also got a gimmick where it can mow patterns, shapes, and logos into your lawn. So you could mow a diamond pattern, a chest pattern. There's so many options that you can do on it. It just makes it very, very versatile, but also quite clever. Now it connects to your Wi-Fi to talk to your home internet, so it can communicate on the app, and you can turn it on and off on schedules and stuff like that, or where you want it to start. But if it loses Wi-Fi connection, then it will eventually update the app when it returns back to base. So it doesn't need a Wi-Fi connection to cut the grass, and it will send that update when it gets reconnected. Now, you could cover your garden in Wi-Fi restrictions, but if you use this robot to its full extent and have a huge lawn, it has one more trick up its sleeve. It has a space for fitting a 4G SIM card. So if you do have a large lawn and you want to keep constant updates to what your lawnmower is doing, or you have no internet signal in your garden whatsoever, just fit a 4G SIM card to it and it will tell you exactly what it's doing at all times. Now, the one thing I have noticed it's been struggling at is edging. Now, this version can mow up to 1,000 square meters. That might seem overkill for my lawn, but remember, some of its premium features means that it can do what I want it to do that other lawnmowers can't, like the steep incline, driving down the pavement. There's just features on this that aren't available on other lawnmowers. You need a premium lawnmower to have some of these features anyway. But if you are having a massive lawn, a much bigger lawn than mine, and 1,000 square meters isn't enough, well, they do a model up to 5,000 square meters here in the UK, and if you're watching in the States, they do even bigger. Now, as you can see, it's quite wide, and that's because this is 400mm width of cutting. It's got two different cutting blades in here, so they've both two cutting discs cutting the lawn left and right. That's why it's got such a large coverage area. Now, it can handle up to a 38-degree slope, and the batteries in it are from 4.6 amp hours to 10 amp hours if you've got a really large lawn. But that slope, 38 degrees, is a bit not finite. Even though that's what they say they can handle, it can handle a bit more, because my slope is more than 38 degrees, and as we saw, it still managed to get up and cut the grass. Now, that's because it's got this four-wheel drive system. Now, basically, each wheel can be driven independently, and it's got these rollers on the front. Now, the advantage of this is, if these wheels are turning left and right, these rollers on these wheels that can basically turn the robot sideways, means that it can turn like a tank without digging into your lawn and damaging your lawn. And that means that if you've got some really tight spaces, this thing can still get in them and cut through them quite effortlessly. I, for one, am looking forward to getting back some of my life and the time I have to spend with my family and kids. I don't think you can put a price on that time. And to be honest, for what that costs and for what it does, it's well worth the money. I'm actually impressed with it. I'm actually surprised how impressed I am with it, because the price I thought was going to be leading this entire review, and I would spend that money on that lawnmower for what it does. I really would. I'm that impressed with what it is able to do. Now, I'm going to have lots of free time now because I don't have to cut my lawn. So if you have any questions about it that I might have missed, leave them down below in the comments and I'll try and answer them. I'm going to go and play with my kid. I'll see you later. Probably going to go to the pub for a pint as well, actually.